Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Hewie Poplock, and this is the Central Florida Computer Society Windows Special Interest Group for January 9th, 2022. Wow, new year, and it's already, we're over a week into it. Glad everyone is here. We've got a interesting and full slate for today, and then following this program, the general meeting or regular meeting of the Central Florida Computer Society will be on this same link, and we're going to be, Mike Ungerman and I are going to be talking about a lot of the new and innovative items coming out of the Consumer Electronics Show last week that was held in Las Vegas. But this is the Windows SIG, so we're going to be talking about Windows. So let's get started. And we want to go to my website, which is hewie.net. Full screen it. And you'll see here the WinSIG. Now, I've had enough in this, since I've redone the website, I've got enough. So I've got just the two. And if you'll notice at the bottom of the page, November, let's see, we go to the bottom of the page. If I get to the bottom here, continue, and then you click and you can go to January through June. And after this meeting, it will only have the January meeting, and there'll be two pages, January to June and August through December, and then the new year. The reason being is I can only get so many on a page with the program that I'm using to develop the website. And I did delete all of the ones from earlier. I do have them, but I've got some going back about 10 years. Anyway, so today what we're going to do is Bob G, who was on here, and a lot of you know Bob G. He's a regular, he does the security on our Tech for Senior. He's talked to almost every one of the groups that many of you are members of around the country and around Canada. And he has been real busy in these COVID days, and he's stuck in the house. He does a lot of videos, and a lot of them around Windows. So I thought a lot of you don't get to see those videos unless you go to his Facebook, or not Facebook page, but his YouTube channel. And I thought we'd just, a lot of them are relatively short, 3 to 5 minutes. So I thought that it would be a good chance, instead of me redoing them or doing them in a different way, that I thought we'd just utilize his expertise and all of the work he's done to put these together to go through them. So there's a list of them. And if you'll notice that each one of these is a link, so you can go back and watch them on your own. And then we have some other articles that I want to try to cover. Some of them today, we may not have time, but there are things there that you might find of interest, and by all means use the links. So let's take a look, checking if the system restore is enabled in Windows 11.
System restore, it can help save your bacon.
The slider on the volume is still low.
If it's turned on.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to
slide
turn
it
that
up
anymore.
Yeah, you see where the
Yeah,
third
it's all the
one?
way up.
Yeah, right there. Right
And
now.
there are two
That's
ways
it.
to
There you
get
go.
there. The easy way is to use the window key and the I for information. Windows and I, and it opens up your settings. The other way to get there is through the Start button and select Settings. This is open. Next thing you want to do is to scroll all the way down to where it says About. Select it, and once this opens, what we're looking for is System Protection. Select it, and that shows you your restore information. As you can see, mine is turned on. If yours says off, select Configure, and from here you can turn it on or off. Mine is on. If you prefer, from here you can disable it. From here you can also set how much space is reserved for the restore point creations. The more space, the more restore points it will create. Mine is set at 5%, and that's for me more than enough. From here, you can also delete all of the currently created restore points. That's just a quick look at how you check to make sure that System Restore is turned on. As I said, it can save your bacon because it can bring you back to a point before a problem started. That's just a quick look. Stay safe, stay secure. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
And oops. And the thing about this restore point, if you install something, it will put, especially a driver or an update, it will put a restore point. And if something happens to it, you can go back one step or you can go back several steps and restore it to where it was. So it's a good thing to know how to do that and to make sure that it's turned on, because a lot of times Windows turns it off by default. Let's see here. I need to, sorry, but my camera's in the way and I got to move it down here and close that. Come back here. And the next one is limiting data shared with Microsoft. As you know, almost every operating system and every program shares with the home base of the software company. And here's how you can limit what you share with Microsoft.
Not a fan of sending usage data to Microsoft? Here's an easy way to limit what you send. Start by opening up the settings, and you can do that by clicking on the Start menu and select Settings. Once this opens, on the left side, select Privacy and Security. And once this opens, we're looking for Diagnostics and Feedback. Select it. And once this opens, this is the culprit that sends all that information to Microsoft. Send optional diagnostic data. Turning this off will prevent that information from being shared with Microsoft. Now, if I do this on my system, you'll notice when I turn it to off, I get a message. I'm a Microsoft insider, so I'm running the beta version. And of course, in order to do that, you need to share information with Microsoft. It's one of the things you agree to do. So I will not be turning it off, but for the average user, if you don't want to share information with Microsoft, you can turn most of it off by simply turning this to the off position. That's all it takes to stop sharing some of that information with Microsoft. Stay safe, stay secure. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
And remember that, again, I've got to move it down here to shut that off. Remember that all of these have links, so you can go and rewatch any of these if you find that you want to go over that again, or you can watch the video from this program. Now, Microsoft Edge, the super duper secure mode.
If you're interested in internet security, and most of you probably are, there's something new in Microsoft Edge that you might want to know about. It's called Super Duper Secure Mode. And if you want to read all the details about that setting and its effect, take a look at the article in Review Geek on this topic. I'm going to show you how to get this thing started so that if you want to make your Edge browser more secure, this is how it gets done. Start by selecting the three-dot menu. Go down to Settings. Once this opens, we want Privacy, Search, and Services. And once this opens, scroll down until you get to something called Enable Security Mitigations for a more secure browser experience. To make this thing simple, many sites still use JavaScript, and there is something used to speed up the JavaScript, and that particular function to speed up the JavaScript is what makes it unsecure. So by stopping that portion, you automatically increase the security of your website. The drawback to this is any website that uses lots of JavaScript will wind up being slowed down. So you need to be careful. On some sites, it will slow down the website. It can also break some things on the website that depend on lots of JavaScript. So you might not want to use this on YouTube because YouTube uses lots of Java. Many places, this increases your security, and it's well worth taking advantage of. You need to activate this or put the slider to the on position. And I recommend that you use the balanced method. Strict might give you a little bit more security, but it's not worth the trade-off because you'll have lots more broken sites. So stay with balanced. And as soon as you've done that, you now have a more secure web browser. That's all it takes. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Let's take a break on the sharing here and see if there's any comments or questions. Remember to unmute yourself because I've muted everybody.
I saw a thing in the chat. Someone asked if these work with Windows 10.
Yes, most of them do.
Yeah, most of what we're going to show you today will work on 10 and 11, even though it says Windows 11 on it. Anyone else? All right, let's get back to it. I'm going to try to optimize the clip and see if we can make it a little clearer for you.
One free app that's been a pleasure from the day I first started to use it. It's Patch My PC Updater. And I never know it's there until it's time for it to do its job and let me know there's a program that needs to be updated. And we all know keeping your programs up to date is just as important as keeping your operating system up to date. And it just let me know I have 3 programs that need updating. And it's very simple. Just hit the button that says perform the 3 updates. At this point, it just goes out and does the job. It doesn't bother me. And as you can see, the job is done. My programs have been updated, and I know my security on those programs are as up to date as possible. I'm going to put a link to the download for this program in the notes for this video. Something I think everyone should be using, and it's capable of updating over 300 applications. And if I scroll through here, you'll see there are lots and lots of programs and lots of different categories. And the only ones that it ever does anything with are the ones that you have installed. And if you install something new, 9 out of 10, it's probably part of something they're already capable of updating. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bob, does it require you to connect programs to it, or how does it actually work?
No, it scans. When you first install it, it scans to see what you have on your system. And if it's within their database, then those are the items that will wind up getting updated. As soon as an update's available, you'll know about it.
And if you install a new program, it knows to go out and look, or do you have to rescan?
Now it knows it's there. So obviously it does some scanning in the background.
I've
Is
never
there a
used it.
way, is there a way to add anything to it for programs that are not in its normal database?
You can go to their website and make suggestions, but you can't from your end add things to it. It's something they have to do on their end.
How did you set up automatic, that it does it automatically? I usually have to go to the program.
You know, that's how I run it too. I don't have it pop up at me.
Okay,
About once a week, I just run the program, and it is very quick in doing its updates too. Actually, I find it quicker than I can do it if I was doing it manually. So I don't know what technology they're using. And the video, you saw within the video how quickly it was. It wasn't, I didn't speed anything up. That was the actual process. So
I've been using Sumo to do the same thing. How does this compare to Sumo?
I don't use the other product, so I don't know.
Yeah, the other one is Ninite, which I've used for years.
Yes, but Ninite works a little bit different.
And Ninite is only pretty much freeware programs, I believe.
They have, yeah, mostly freeware.
Yeah. Any other questions, comments?
is it only for Windows?
Yes.
Okay, let's go back to the list here and reaching image backup. And I believe this, Bob, you can verify that the image backup is also available in Windows 10, correct?
Yes, it's been available since version 7. In this tutorial, we're going to cover creating a system image, which is an exact copy of your hard drive, while you're on Windows 11. Let's get started. Easiest way to get to the control panel, which is what you need to access, is to either have followed my prior tutorial on how to pin the control panel to the taskbar, or use the search function. So click on the start button and then type control. And as you start typing it, you'll notice it's already listed here. So then once that comes up, select control panel. From here, you have two options. If this is what you're looking at, you can either expand the category and show small icons, and then you'll find something here called Backup and Restore Windows 7, or you can, through categories, now go to System and Security, and once you do that, you'll also come to something that says Backup and Restore Windows 7. Select it, and once this opens, this is what you need to access in order to be able to create an image backup. From here, you can select the drive that you want to create the image on. In my case, that's a drive D, and you have several options that you can choose. But just as in Windows 10 and prior, in order to create an image backup, you need to use Backup and Restore Windows 7. And the only way to get to it is through the control panel. How much longer Microsoft will allow us to access the control panel is anyone's guess, but it's still available in Windows 11. And because it's still available, you also have access to Backup and Restore Windows 7. That's what it takes to start making an image backup, so that if you have a problem, you have a way of recovering your hard drive. Stay safe, be free. I hope that helps.
We are here again for another talent search.
I hit the wrong button, or I hit the button and it was in the wrong place. Anyway, that's how to reach the image backup. I know Mike uses
Reflect.
Macrium Reflect. I use the Acronis system backup. I've never used the Windows one. And I know Bob does, and I think you've restored with it as well. Correct, Bob?
That was going to be my question, Bob, is what is the restore process? Do you have a boot disk that then accesses it?
Yeah, well, usually you don't need that, because if your system malfunctions 3 times, it automatically boots you into the recovery mode. And one of the options in the recovery mode is to restore an image, and it automatically goes to it if you're using this program.
How about cold iron? Let's say your hard drive fails, you put a new hard drive in.
The first time that before you make your first backup, one of the functions is to create a boot disk or USB drive. And that should always be the first thing. You've got to have a way of going back. If the operating system isn't there, you have to have some way of getting to it. And that's what that emergency boot disk is for.
Thank you.
Microsoft does have a way of doing that, as well as Acronis does, and I'm quite sure Macrium Reflect will have.
All of the backup programs, if they're third party, they have a boot function, either through a CD or through a USB.
So those of you, go ahead, Dave.
You're saying this is a valid cloning product then?
Yeah,
it's an image backup, which is
backup.
It. Yeah.
I mean, when I want to go to take my my hard drive and move it over to an NVRAM, I can use this tool that do that as a direct clone.
Provided that RAM drive is at least as big as what you've made an image of. Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Remember, Dave, excuse me, remember that a clone is making a duplicate of the drive. An image backup, you're making a file that contains everything that you have to then restore from that file to a new drive.
Right. You would spin this off to another drive and then make your clone as a restore process.
That's correct.
Okay.
Am I right in that, Bob? Or others?
I've never made a clone. I've always used an image backup, and I've always restored from an image backup.
Yeah.
If you make a clone, you don't need to restore it. You just take out your drive and you swap and you put in the one you cloned.
Yep.
But this doesn't do a clone.
Unless it doesn't clone properly, and it swaps the drive letters around, which is the problem I was having.
Yeah.
So I bought another SSD drive, put that in, and it cloned it without any problem. That's what I'm using right now. So it must have been something on the other drive that the drive letters somehow got swapped around when you tried to clone it. When you press your Windows key, what happens on your screen? Does it show Windows 10 or does it show Windows 11 start menu? On your screen you just had.
My screen?
No, on Hewie's.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, go back to where you were sharing your screen.
My screen.
Okay, now press the Windows key.
Oh, I'm in Windows 11.
On your keyboard, just the Windows key.
That's what I just did.
Yeah, it's on Windows 11.
Okay. Yeah, on mine it shows up Windows 10. The Windows 10 start menu.
And are you on Windows 11?
Actually, I prefer the Windows 10 start menu.
Yeah. Well, if you were on Windows 10, you'd have the Windows 10 start menu.
No, but on Windows 11, when I press the Windows key, it shows me the previous Windows 10 start menu.
Then you did some changes. By default, it will not. It'll show you the Windows 11.
Yeah,
There
that's what I
are many
wondered.
programs that you can use to change it back to what it was in Windows 10 or prior. But by
Yeah, that's,
default, it will not wind up showing you anything except 11.
and I can't remember it's the program that does fences, and I can't, or the company that does fences. They have a tool that will make it look like Windows 10.
There are actually a couple of different
Is
companies.
there?
Yep.
Okay, let's go to the snipping tool next. If you
Can I-
don't use
Can I
another
ask a
question?
quick question? On
Sure.
the, to create a
please stop.
system repair disk, does it have to be unique to that computer, or can it be general, say, for Windows 11?
It's a general, as long as you're going, you can take that USB drive or the CD, DVD to a different machine. It is a bootable media if your operating system won't boot into the system, into Windows 10 or 11.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I wanted to check.
Yep.
Does that bootable media have to be updated as Windows 11 gets updates?
No.
I have a question in the chat.
Go ahead, but Steve Hall has his hand up too. Okay, go ahead with the question from the chat.
From Maryland, why do you have to make a boot disk first before you do an image backup on Windows?
Bob?
You do an image back. All of this is done as a precaution if something happens. Okay. If nothing happens, you don't need anything. You don't even need a backup. You do these things as a precaution. When something happens, that you're prepared for it. So the normal function is, first thing you do is create that boot drive. Then you make your image backup. Now, if something happens, you have a way of restoring that image you just created.
Yeah, if you install a program and it creates havoc on your system, but the system still boots, you can boot without using that disk and then do your image restore. However, if something happens to your operating system and you can't boot at all, then you would use that as an emergency. So it's like having a spare key for your lock, that if you lose the key, you still can get through the door. Steve Hall, question?
Yeah, so is your image backup like an all or none thing? In other words, or can you selectively choose the particular files that you want that maybe got corrupted somehow? That's one question.
Yeah, you can actually go through the image and pick which files you want to restore.
Correct.
Yeah,
but usually you're using it because your system crashed. That's usually what you use it for.
Yeah, Stephen, when you create the image, it does do everything that's on your disk. But if you have one file that you deleted by mistake, you can go back into that image and dig down in and find and just restore that one file if you want to.
Yep.
The other question would be if you're actually wanting to move, say, to a different computer, would you run into problems with, say, the software certificates like from Microsoft? Does it know that you're on a different computer than your original? And what if could someone pirate an entire image that way and use it on two computers? So just, not that I would do that, obviously, but I'm just wondering if there are problems with software certificates when you use it on a different computer.
There are paid versions of some of the backup programs, such as Macro and Reflect. And one of the features of the paid version of Macro and Reflect is what they call a cold iron restore. So you can actually take an image backup, say, of your Windows 10 computer and move over to a new computer that may already have come with Windows 11. But if you say, I really want to restore my old operating system and my old configuration and then upgrade, it will do a cold iron restore. So it claims. I have never tried doing that,
Okay, thank you.
And again, if you have a new computer, you can use the image to get all of your data and all of your files the way they are. You might want to restore the programs from scratch anyway on a new computer to make sure that if there was something broken in it, in a particular program, that it be fixed automatically when you installed it fresh, and you'd get all the security updates, and it would be an updated version of what you may have on your old system.
Yeah, so you'd use your original disks. I take it, although some computers did not actually come with an original disk, as I'm recalling from the past, and maybe they all do now.
Yeah, but if you downloaded the file and had it on the hard drive, you'd still have it. So you could reinstall from it.
That's true. Yeah. Okay.
I think you would have a problem with the certificate for the Windows operating system if you were trying to move to a new motherboard and processor. I don't think Microsoft would allow that.
Yeah, that's actually my concern and my question. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, I think it, and I don't know for sure, but I think it figures out, oh, wait a minute, there was Windows on this. The motherboard knows what the certificate should be or what the key should be, and will utilize the one that it needs. I'm just guessing on that. Bob, any ideas on that, or anyone else?
I've had it where I had to call Microsoft, and then they went through it, and I had no problems. They've on their end restored it. That was after putting a new motherboard into a computer because it balked.
Okay,
My
let's go
laptop
back.
that I had before, the one I've got now, which is an Asus, was a Dell, and it had Windows Professional on it. The one I've got now came with Windows Home, and I wanted the Professional. So I just took the operating system as it was from my old computer, put it onto the new Asus, and I recognized it, set it up, and it worked fine.
If you're using
The only
it through
time
your
I've run-
Microsoft account, yes.
The only time I've run into problems is when I tried to clone that other drive, and it just wouldn't clone it properly for some reason.
Bob, you had a comment? Nope. Okay. All right, let's get back. Snipping tool. If you're not using a snipping tool, there's one built into Windows. I use something called Snagit, but I also use the snipping tool sometimes, and it's really a good program. So let's take a look.
One of the items updated in Windows 11 is the snipping tool. And the new snipping tool actually combines the old snipping tool and snip and sketch. You reach that tool by using the shortcut key combination of the Windows key, the Shift key, and the S key. Let me show you what the new snipping tool looks like and how easy it is to use. There's your snipping tool, and here are your choices. You can do a rectangular snip, you can do a free-form snip, you can do a Windows snip, that's the windowed.
I'm going to pause it right here. Can you see the top part of the screen? People, anyone?
No, I'm seeing the meeting controls on your computer, Hewie.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of.
No.
Let me,
portion if you get a pop-up, or you can
Let-
do a
I'm gonna-
full screen
hang on one
snip.
sec.
A little more compact, but all the features are right there in front of you. And remember, the only way to
I'm going to start it over again so you can see those tools.
one of the items updated in Windows 11 is the snipping tool. And the new snipping tool actually combines the old snipping tool and snip and sketch. You reach that tool by using the shortcut key combination of the Windows key, the Shift key, and the S key. Let me show you what the new snipping tool looks like and how easy it is to use. There's your snipping tool, and here are your choices. You can do a rectangular snip, you can do a free-form snip, you can do a Windows snip, that's the windowed portion, if you get a pop-up, or you can do a full screen snip. A little more compact, but all the features are right there in front of you. And remember, the only way to get to this new snipping tool is to use your shortcut key combination, Windows key, Shift key, and S. If you currently aren't using your print screen key for anything else, there's one way to make launching the snipping tool even easier to reach. Let me show you how. Click on the Start button, go to Settings. Once you're in Settings, you want to go to Accessibility. Next, scroll down until you get to Keyboard. Select it. And once you get to this, you'll see something that's called Use the Print Screen button to open screen snipping. By default, this is turned off. If it's not used by anything else, simply turn this on, and it tells you on here that if it's currently assigned by some other tool, you may need to restart your computer for this change to take effect. So if you want to use the print screen key to open up the snipping tool, turn this on. Once that's done, you can close this window. And once that change has been made, all you now need to do to get to the snipping tool is hit your print screen key. And once you hit it, voila, there is your snipping tool. You pick whichever is easiest for you. Shortcut key combo, Windows key, Shift key, and S key, or change it and activate the print screen key to automatically open up your snipping tool. Give it a try once you're on Windows 11. Nice little addition, easy enough to get to and easy enough to use. Stay safe, be free. I hope this helps.
It is a tool that if you're not using it, and the one thing that Bob didn't say in this is you'll notice when he pressed it, the screen kind of got a little bit gray, and then there was a little red plus sign, which is you can take it and then by using your mouse, grab a whole portion of the screen, whatever part of the screen you want to select, and when you click it, that'll be the area that it snips. So you don't have to do the whole screen. Steve, you have a question about this?
Yeah, I might have missed it, but what format does it save the file? Is it a JPEG, or can you choose the type of graphic file you want to save it in? I don't think you mentioned that.
I don't think I ever looked.
Yeah, let me.
Yeah, it goes, and I believe it's a JPEG.
That's the most common one. I would think so. I have another
Okay.
software that I use for that.
You know, hang on a second.
And the shortcut keys work in Windows 10 as well.
Yeah.
I'm running it and I don't see if, let's see, is there a way to
When you
save?
select a section of the screen, and once you've done the selection, a pop-up shows on the lower right corner normally. And that pop-up, if you click on it, it will let you save it in the form you want to save it, or it has already put it in your clipboard. So you can paste it directly without doing anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Okay.
And then you can, if you paste it, you can put it whatever you want and then save it as a JPEG or whatever. When I just tested it myself, because I've got Snagit kind of took over, so I couldn't give you an answer on that. Okay, but that is a tool that if you're not using it, boy, is it handy to do an awful lot of things, to grab something off the screen to share with somebody.
I personally use Screencast-O-Matic, but once in a while, I still need the snipping tool.
Yeah, I bought and update on a regular basis Snagit, and have probably since actually I think the first version of it I got it at Comdex, so that shows you how long ago that was, and I've been using it since. Okay, creating many empty folders. And I watched this and I went in and I followed it and was able to clean up a whole
Windows
bunch of them.
11 is leaving a mess, leaving many empty folders. This is what a sample folder looks like. The temporary folders are created by the provisioning packaging runtime processing tool, provtool.exe. These empty folders can be found by following the path listed here. On my main system, I emptied over 2,000 folders yesterday, but new ones seem to be created daily. I cleared them out yesterday, but 20 new folders were created during the day. Since they're empty folders, they really don't take up a lot of disk space, but it causes a lot of clutter and a mess. Removing them has no effect on the operating system, so hopefully this is something Microsoft hurries up and addresses, because it really isn't very pretty. Originally I thought that maybe the problem was because that machine that I use on a regular basis isn't really ready for Windows 11, but somehow Microsoft decided to install it instead of the Windows 10 October update. So now I'm on a computer that is definitely ready. It's my Dell. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what we find on this computer. I'll start by opening up File Explorer, then go to Drive C. Next go to Windows. Next we want System 32. Select System 32. Next we want Config. Next System Profile. App Data. And then last Local. Yep, and as you can see, we've got lots of these TW whatever temp folders. If I open one, you'll see they're all empty. There's nothing there. So let's just go back to local again. And what we want to do is clean out all of these temp folders. So select the first one, go all the way down, and as you can see, there are lots of them. And this is not a machine I use on a daily basis. Hit the Shift key and enter on the last item. That selects all of them. And now I'll simply do a right click and delete all of those folders. And as you noticed here, there are 1,759 items that were all the temp folders erroneously created on a machine that I don't use that often. Unfortunately, when I come back here tomorrow, if I use the machine during the day, there are going to be new folders that again should be gotten rid of. Actually, hopefully Microsoft soon fixes the problem so they don't mess up and create a clutter on the system. That's all. That's what it takes to get rid of the garbage. If you'd like to keep your system tidy, this is one thing you should keep clean. Stay safe, stay secure. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bob, couldn't you just use the Windows disk cleanup?
Nope. Didn't address it. Didn't address it. What I was able to do was use Ccleaner and set up a special routine in Ccleaner. So now I run Ccleaner and it cleans out the garbage. Worst thing I found out, it's not only Windows 11, it's happening on Windows 10. Has been for quite some time. And as of today, it's still happening. Microsoft still has not addressed it.
Yeah, I had about 200 and some odd folders in mine. I didn't have the 2,000 that you had, which surprised me. But I did delete them, and I haven't gone back since to see if there are more.
You'll find more.
Yep. Yep. It doesn't hurt anything, and they don't take up a lot of, as you said, not a lot of space, but it's still individual files that are out there that you don't need.
Actually, folders. No files. There's no files in there, just folders.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is what gave me the hassle when I set it up in Ccleaner, because it was looking to get rid of files. There aren't any. So.
All right.
Somebody confirm that the optimized drive, that's the optimized drive feature that's built in, doesn't clean those also?
It doesn't.
Okay. You mentioned disk cleanup before Steve did. I think that's what he was referring to. I wasn't sure.
It might be
Okay.
handy if you showed how you set that up in Ccleaner.
I don't think he don't have that video there.
Do you have one?
I believe so. While you're doing whatever you're doing, I'll go look for it.
Yeah, and also if you can put in, Bob, in the chat box, the Patch My PC updater, if you could put the link to that in the chat box too.
Oh, it's not. You mean
The
the
actual
link to the program itself?
The link to the program, right?
Okay. I mean, they'll get it if they go to the video.
Yeah, if they go to the video and then just scroll down, it'll be in the explanation of it.
I just checked my Windows 10 and I have 4,483 of
Yep.
those folders.
Yep.
Going all the way back to February 10th of 2021.
But 2021, okay.
Yep.
All right, that was create. So Taskbar explained. Let's go ahead and.
The Windows 11 Taskbar. We used to split them up into two parts, the Taskbar, which was the part that was always on the left. And then we had the system tray, which was the icons to the right. Now in Windows 11, by default, your start menu, or the taskbar, is in the middle. So there's no left and right, and the whole thing is now called the taskbar, and it's split up into several components. You have your start menu, you have your search bar, you have your desktops, where you can set up several different desktops or work areas. You have your widgets, you have your chat, and then you have the shortcuts that you've pinned to the bottom task manager, such as your browsers, file manager, and whatever else you've decided to pin to the taskbar. Some of us have more, some of us have less. And what's on the right side, what we used to call the system tray, that's also now been called by different things, but it's all part of the taskbar. In here, you have your clock and notification. You have your action bar. You also have quick ways to get to things like your speaker, your internet connection, your microphone, and the items that you've decided to pin to the bottom, the programs that start up when the system starts, and those items that you have decided to hide. And if you click on this up arrow, you see the items that are hidden. You right click on any empty spot on the taskbar, you get to go to the taskbar settings. When you open that, here, if you scroll down to where it says Taskbar Corner Overflow, select it, and now you can see all of the items that are residing in this right-hand side of the taskbar. If it says on, they're visible. If they're off, they're the ones that pop up when you click on the overflow or the hidden parts. If I click this, I see here that I have Microsoft Teams, and Power Toys. And if you look here, you'll see that Power Toys are off, and so is Microsoft Teams off, which means, yes, they're still running in the background, but they aren't showing up on the right-hand side of the taskbar. You have to hit that up caret in order to actually see them and be able to access them. Little different from what it was in 10 and prior, but everything is still there. Everything can still be accessed. You can still turn items on and off, and you can still hide or show the items on that right side of the taskbar. Anything new, eventually you will have to learn how to navigate in something new. I'm sure that Microsoft figured this was a better way to handle things. And as you get used to it, it's just as easy as it used to be when you were using Windows 10 or 8, 8.1 or 7. It's just a matter of getting used to the new things that are part of Windows 11. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I didn't full screen that because if I did, you'd see my taskbar would hide the one that he was showing you the information. So I apologize. It wasn't as big as I would like to have had it for you. But again, you can go back to that video by going to hewie.net and the WinSIG page and clicking on the link and use it. And by the way, Bob doesn't mind. I know a lot of you are from several different user groups from around the country. You can use any of these videos in your meetings, correct, Bob?
That's correct.
And if you go to my YouTube channel, any of the videos that I have there, you're welcome to use in your meetings as well. So we spend a lot of time putting these things together, and we like them to be used as much as possible. So by all means, utilize them for your meeting. So when you have trouble deciding what you're going to do for a meeting, use a couple of these or use several of them. And it don't all have to be from Bob. You can use one from Bob, one from me, one from Ron Brown, and one from Bill James, and one from Dewey's, I think, are all on Ron's page or on the Tech for Senior page. And then Ray Baxter has a lot of them out there. So all of us on Tech for Seniors are more than happy to have you share and utilize those. Mike, question?
Just a comment. When you go to Hewie's YouTube videos, you go to Bob's YouTube videos, or any APCUG or club videos on YouTube, click that like button. First of all, it will let us know that the videos are being seen. You sort of hate to post these things and see a big 0 on there. And secondly, some of us are trying to build our channels up, and it helps create volume, which YouTube does recognize and increases some of your perks.
Yeah, the more likes there are and the more subscribers there are for a given channel, more likes for particular videos, and the more followers there are, Google will then publicize the videos and get it out more to more people. So the more I've got 600 and some odd followers. If I can get that over 1,000, it will definitely increase the visibility of my channel to people other than the people who are seeing it now. Stephen, comment or question?
Yeah, I think I'm the only one that keeps mentioning this, but whenever you shrink something on the screen like what you did, particularly for senior citizens, I think, if you hit the Windows key and the plus key, it brings up, it magnifies the screen. And every time you hit Windows and plus again, it magnifies it even more. You can move it. It may require a little bit of setting on that. You can access it. I'd have to go through and remember how I did it. But at any rate, it's very, very helpful. Now, of course, if you're just on a regular site other than Zoom, you know, they're up in the upper right-hand corner. I think you can just simply change the size of your screen. You can do it that way, but you can't do that with Zoom as far as I know. So the magnifying glass is something that is actually built into Windows. It's free. You don't have to download anything. It's very, very helpful when it's hard to see the tiny text on a screen. So hopefully.
Yeah, but yeah, and each of these videos is different where it is. So I
Yeah.
haven't been doing that, but again, all the links are there. You can go back and revisit each of those, because if you're not interested in one, you don't have to worry about it. But if you are, you can go back in and take a real close look at it.
Right.
Okay, any other comments, questions?
Yeah, I posted two things. The link to the program that we talked about to update your computer's programs. And the other one was not a video that I created. It's an actual tutorial that I did on the Avast customer support forum. And I posted the link to that tutorial because that was not something you could actually do in a YouTube. It just wasn't feasible for people to follow. There's too much stuff. But if you follow that link, it'll take you right to the tutorial that I posted on the Avast support forum. Send the chat.
Yep, and there's another question in the chat box. Does Windows 11 still allow you to hide the taskbar until you need it? And that is, yes, that is you can do that.
Touch virtual.
Sure, let's see if I can. Taskbar settings. And I'll do what, see, when I do the Control plus on that, it doesn't help, but let's,
Windows plus.
Okay, but yeah, Windows plus.
It's under taskbar
behavior. Yep.
Yeah.
And you have automatically hide the taskbar.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna, let's see, get that back. It's confusing right now. So
Yeah, Windows minus. We'll take it back.
Yeah. Control minus or Windows minus. How do you shut it off? Oh, I guess just hit that.
Little
There we
X
go.
there. Yep.
Okay. Anyway, for the taskbar, let's see, where do I find that?
taskbar behaviors.
Taskbar, yeah. Taskbar
behavior.
Yeah, right here.
Yep.
Show badge. Let's see. Show my taskbar on all displays and
The very
select
top
the
one.
the top one. Automatically hide the taskbar. I've got that turned off, so it's always there. If I do that, then the taskbar will go away and come back.
It's off by default.
Yep. Okay, so that's how you can do it. Okay, we'll close this. And Bob, we have one more for Bob on Zoom, the auto update feature.
Zoom auto updates. Finally, if you've updated your Zoom app probably this morning, and it should now be on version 5.8.6, from now on, you can get auto updates. Let me show you how. Open up the Zoom app. Next, once this is open, click on the settings, and all the way on the bottom, you'll notice Zoom updates. You can now check this to automatically keep Zoom up to date. And you have two options: slower, which means fewer updates and better stability, or if you're like me, I want to know what comes out, what's new, and I want to know about it as soon as it happens. So that's the fast update. You may have some problems, but at least you get to try out the newest updates to Zoom as soon as they're available. One nice addition just added by Zoom in this latest release. Make sure you're up to date, and then make sure that you check off automatically keep Zoom up to date. Stay safe, stay secure, and keep Zooming. And then there are still updates that aren't automatic updates because they won't do it automatically. We found that out not too long after they instituted that auto update. They're only downloaded if you do it manually, but they're small updates. Usually something that somebody discovered a problem and that fixes a problem. But most updates now are automatic if that's turned on.
And if you go, if you're on Windows anyway, and you go in the Zoom window, up on the top left-hand corner is a green shield with a check mark in it. If you click that, that gives you some information about the meeting. To the right of that, at the top right, there's a gear for settings. When you click that, you will see all of the settings. If you're not in statistics, go to statistics. And you'll see at the bottom, it'll tell you what version number you're on. Mine is 5.9.0. I think there might have been one since then.
There should now be 5.9.1.
Yeah, and I'm not sure from here. I don't think I can do an update. You have to do it from the program itself. But that'll at least tell you what version you're running.
All you have to do is just right click on the Zoom icon on your taskbar. And there's an check for updates.
Mine doesn't have that.
Well, you've got the Zoom icon in the taskbar, right? Your system tray or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
Right side.
Right side, your task.
Your right corner.
Icon.
Yeah, you right click on that icon and you should see check for updates.
Okay. Unless you have the icon hidden. Then you have to go to your hidden icons.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Bob, for doing all of those videos. I think they were good discussions and a lot of things that really, I really didn't want to redo since you've already done a good job on them. And so I'm glad I could share them. And I hope that helped a lot of you with reminding you of some of these things if it didn't teach you about them to begin with. So let's go ahead and share my screen again. So we still have some time. And let's see, I got to click this off and click this, and we're back here. Now, I've added some other items hoping we would get to them today. Let's take a look at the Windows 11 cheat sheet for those of you who are using Windows 11. If you go to this page, it's at Computer World. There is a whole bunch of, there's a new start menu. There's a whole bunch of things here that will help you. And I'm going to just scroll down because what I want to show you at the bottom of this, you can see, wow, is there a lot of stuff. And then it's a long page, but at the bottom, there's a page 2. So don't just look at the one, but let's go all the way at the top and take a look at what they're telling us here. And let's clean this up a little bit. So we'll do this. And so it talks about the new start menu. Gives you some things to do, and then it gives you a list of a bunch of items. I forgot because I'm in this program that if I move my mouse over something, is saying, do you want to delete it? And it highlights it. So I'm not going to move my arrow, but you'll see move to top, unpin from start, run as an administrator. It tells you how to do all of these things. So it's a really good cheat sheet. And you can print this out, but it's not going to be one sheet. It's going to be a whole bunch of sheets. How to use the search. And then again, it tells you top apps, recent, quick searches, and it gives you a picture of it. And it's much more useful, and how to do it, how to do searches. And then you can target your search by clicking any of the tabs just underneath the search box, either all, apps, documents, web, or more. And then widgets. Bob showed you the widgets he has. I'm going to look at mine. I think I only have, whoops, that's the desktop one. I don't even have widgets set up on my taskbar because I don't use them. But if it's a neat thing to have, there are several ones you can have. There's one on weather, and there's some other ones available. You can make them small, medium, or large. You can customize them and remove them. I don't use Teams, so I don't need to. I'm not going to go over those items, but if you do, there's some help there for Teams. There's some information about the updates. And I guess that's at the bottom. Okay. So we'll close this. And we'll go to the second page all the way at the bottom and go to next. And we'll do the same thing. The task view and virtual desktops. It talks about how you can use them. The snap layouts, which is really nice, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Well, let's do it. If you hold your mouse over what used to be just maximize and minimize, if you just hold your mouse over it, it gives you different ways to set up your desktop. So you can set it up with side by side. You can set it with 3/4 and 2/3 and 1/3. You can set it up as thirds. You can set it up in these different formats. So if I go like this, bingo, I've got here. And so if I open, let's say this one, they're automatically side by side. I have been using this a lot lately. And again, you can then say, whoops, this, or we can come back here and say, just hold the mouse over it instead. Whoops, say mouse over it. And let's say we want quarters. So it puts a quarter there, and so on. So you can move it around and have it any way you wish. Hit escape and gets it out of it. As you move it from the quarter, it's gone. We'll minimize this and we'll come back to here. And with this, whoops. Hit escape again. No. What's happening is underneath my my menu, and I can't see it. So I'm going to have to stop share for a moment and then get it out of there. There we go. Now share again. Where'd my windows go? And share again. So this cheat sheet's got a lot of information using Windows 11 on a tablet, some things that you can do there, and then a whole bunch of the key combinations that you can use, and all the things it can do, gestures with the your trackpad or your touch screen. So that's that. Any questions about using it? The cheat sheet. Good thing to add to your arsenal for help when you need it. We've got about 5 or so minutes to finish up. Let's see what else we can cover here. And we'll close.
Gerald posted something in the chat. Is there a cheat sheet?
Is there a Windows 10 cheat sheet?
Yes, there is.
Probably.
Just do a search on Google. There's a whole bunch of articles on it.
Now let's finish up with this. How to find the Wi-Fi password in Windows 11. And by the way, you can also do this in Windows 10. Great article. Let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. And move this over here. Okay. To locate the Wi-Fi password in Windows 11 via settings, follow these steps. Click the start button and then click the settings icon. In other words, get to settings. So if you can do the Windows key and I will open your settings, or you can click down here and go to settings. But once the settings is open, go to network and internet on the right hand, from the right hand column, advanced network settings. That would be here. Next, scroll down to the related settings section and click on more network adapter options, which is right here. Right click on the wireless adapter you're connected to. So this is the particular one they're showing. And when you right mouse click on it, you'll get this, and you'll want to go to status. When you're in status, you're going to see this information. And then you want to go to wireless properties. When you go to wireless properties, you'll see this, and you'll see the network security key. So if you haven't written down your security key for your Wi-Fi, this is how you can find it. You may find, and I tried to do this in Windows 10 on one of my neighbor's computers, you had to sign into your Microsoft account to be able to get to this. And he didn't know what his password was. It was automatically starting. And so we had to figure that out before we get into this. But once you get into it, you can see the network security. And if you're trying to demonstrate this in your user group, for instance, make sure you uncheck this so it doesn't show what your security is. And then you can also do it with PowerShell. I don't use PowerShell, so I didn't do it. So I didn't try that, but it also tells you how to do it as well. So if you're stuck and you didn't write down, or you forgot what your Wi-Fi password is, this is a way to, at least as long as you're connected, you can go and you can find it. Stephen.
Well, what I do is I simply take my router and it's pasted on the back of the router. It tells you exactly what it is, which is a lot simpler than going through all that.
But a lot of routers may have changed, and you should occasionally change your password. It doesn't hurt to do that. And if you have changed it, or if you have a router that it's not written on, it doesn't hurt. You could actually do a little label and put it on the back of your router. But sometimes your router is underneath your desk. And for some of us with gray hair, it's not too hard to get down there and find it. It's hard getting up.
That's true. Very, very true.
But it is a good way, especially if you're helping somebody, to find out what their password is, because they probably haven't written it down or didn't know it. And once they set it up, so if they just don't have a record of it, and this way you can double check it. Mike, comment.
Yes, I use Windows and Linux sticky notes. You know, you've got Post-it notes. I've got probably about 8 or 10 of them sitting here on my desk. But sticky notes act just like Post-it notes. You can size them, you can move them around, and you can put your Wi-Fi password on it. So, you know, it's just another way to have stuff like that available.
Are you talking about the software program sticky notes?
Well, it comes, there are sticky notes available in Windows 10 and 11 by default.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to go to this, and we go to all apps. And you know that if you click on a letter, it gives you like a keyboard. And I'm just going to go to S for sticky. And there's a show key plus. Let's see, sticky notes. It's right here. I'm not going to click on it because I don't think I've ever used it. I'll click on it, see what happens.
They stay there, and by default, they're there when you reboot.
Yeah, it's not starting, or it may be somewhere and I don't see it.
It's probably behind your share screen.
Yeah.
The other note I put into chat, but if you'll notice right now, we are seeing your meeting controls at the top of the screen. Zoom has a built-in control, one of two ways. Control Alt Shift H should hide those meeting controls at the top of the screen.
Alt Shift H.
H should hide them. Yep, there they go.
Yeah, but then you got to remember that same thing. They bring them back so you can
Well-
stop your share and stop doing things.
The other is, another shortcut is just Control \. It's supposed to also work. Supposed to.
No.
Sometimes
No.
it doesn't. I
No.
found.
It's not
But
working
anyway,
on mine.
if you have it covering something up, Control-Alt-Shift-H will get rid of it.
I find
Okay.
it best. I find it best to have it on an index card, so when your grandkids come over with a new device and need to access your Wi-Fi, you can just give them the card and let them plug it in. Otherwise, you have to go looking on your computer for it. So I keep it handy for that.
Okay, Diane Bender says, I love sticky notes. Use them all the time. They're good to info that you want to copy and paste from time to time. They stay there. You can hide or bring up when you need them. I use a program called, let's check out, see what it's called, SimpleNote, that you can have a whole bunch of notes. You can bring it up at any time. And the same program I have on my Chromebook. And because it saves it, I believe, in the cloud. So if I put something in SimpleNote on my PC, if I go to my Chromebook, it's there as well, which your sticky notes doesn't do. Let me bring up. I'm going to bring up SimpleNote first, and it must be behind something here. Well, I got too many things running because it's not coming up either. Wait a minute. Let's see. Yeah, here
Can't you just do an alternate tab to see what
So,
screens you got up, and that way?
No, but it wasn't coming up. But let's see. I just want to go to a page. When I started it was going to open up with a whole bunch of names and phone numbers and so on. I don't want to do that. So let me now share my screen. Share screen. Here is SimpleNote right here. Let me full screen it. And there's things over here on the right, or on the left, I should say, the other right, on the left. And then I can put anything in, or I can create a new note and I can type in anything I want. And if I went to my Chromebook and opened up the same program, that would already be there. And so you can see, how do I back up Evernote? This is information that I want all the time. For instance, I've got all the email addresses and so on from the board of directors. And so I can just, I go to that, copy and paste them all and put them in an email and I'm done. It'd probably be easier to have something in my email program, but sometimes I'm not in the same program. Sometimes I'm doing something else and I can get and find information, or something that I copy and paste a lot. For instance, like the address and phone number of something that I do when I do flyers and so on. I've got the information right here. I can copy and I can paste it right into the program I'm using all the time. It's available for me. So that's something called SimpleNote. You can download it. You can install it on your PC, but it also there's a Android version. I think there's also an iOS version. And once you set it up and you sign into your account, all that information is available on all of your devices for that same account.
Evernote will do the same thing for you.
Yeah, I use Evernote, but I've got 18,300 some odd notes. And it's just, SimpleNote is just for certain items, and Evernote is for articles and so on that I want to have. In SimpleNote, it's all text, pretty much text, where Evernote, you get all the stuff that you want. Okay, Stan, are you there?
I have one comment about sticky notes.
Sure, John. Sure, John.
I share a remote amateur radio station with another guy, and we have it running all the time, and we use a VNC in order to see the desktop. So we use sticky notes to show which one is on and which one's off, and we use it to communicate back and forth with each other with a sticky note always on that screen.
Interesting. Okay, very interesting use of it. All right, so let me end this portion. This has been the Central Florida Computer Society Windows SIG for January 9th, 2022. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. Be sure you like and follow us. And that's it. I'm Hewie Poplock. We'll see you next month.